RVD Tito for Life posted their new video where Bill said that the X Division was a joke right now. My reaction was that while I could see where he was coming from, I didn't necessarily agree. Then I watched iMPACT. And if you watched iMPACT, then you saw Eric Young winning the X Division title in a crappy match that lasted all of 4 minutes after his opponent, the champion, got his ass kicked by the referee. What the fuck is that? Then all these X Division guys come out, they lift Eric Young up on their shoulders like the referee winning the match for him is some huge fucking accomplishment. If the writers wanted to salvage this thing at all, they should have had Eric Young be pissed off about not winning the belt the right way and offer Bashir an immediate rematch. But then they go backstage, they're all partying like it's 1999 again, Eric Young makes this inspirational speech like he just won the Olympics, and the whole thing is fucking ludicrous because Eric Young winning the belt the way he won it means absolutely nothing. And what the hell kind of title match was that? What kind of X Division match was that? Both guys played it safe, they never went high risk, they didn't get the time to make the match any good. As a title match, it was a fucking joke. And Don West can talk all day about how Eric Young is tailor-made for the X Division, or whatever the hell he said, but there isn't a single person out there that's going to buy that for 1 second when you present him like this. Same thing with Sheik Abdul-Bashir. Sure, he can cut a great promo, but he doesn't wrestle X Division style and doesn't seem to be making any effort to change that, so why the hell is he even in the X Division in the first place, much less walking around with the belt? He might draw heat as a character, but as a wrestler, this guy is losing momentum fast. And then you make a big deal about how Bashir and Shane Sewell can't get along. Well, if they can't get along, then why does management continue to make Sewell the referee for Bashir's matches? If they can't coexist, shouldn't simple common sense tell management that they should be making an effort to keep these guys away from each other? This entire thing was a train wreck from start to finish. Then you've got Rhino and Scott Steiner, which goes about 5 minutes, and because it was Scott Steiner, it was 5 minutes too long. Kurt Angle causes a distraction, and then Rhino gets pinned after one weak-ass suplex? One fucking suplex, that's it? How the hell are we supposed to believe this guy has a chance in hell of beating Kurt Angle at the pay-per-view if he gets pinned that easily by a guy who was past his prime in 2001? Then you got a world title match, Sting versus Jay Lethal, and that match is enough to get me interested, and I think a lot of other people too. But then you have Jay Lethal cut a promo doing his Macho Man impression, which shows that he's not taking this match seriously at all. Then you have the match start at 10:05. 10:05! If you're going to have a world title match on free TV, it doesn't matter if you try to make it look like a big deal. It doesn't matter if you have Borash do the ring introductions before it starts. It doesn't even matter how good of a match it is. If you make the match, if you don't make the match the main event of the show, it completely demeans the importance of the whole thing. And how the hell does Jay Lethal go toe-to-toe with Sting only a few weeks after he got squashed by Sheik Abdul-Bashir in 2 minutes? How does that work? Where's the consistency? The Sarah Palin thing? No comment. And an ODB talk show? Are you fucking kidding me? Were the Karen's Angle interviews not painful enough to sit through? I thought the general consensus in the company was that they sucked. And now all of a sudden you're doing the same thing with ODB? What is the point of that? Seriously! Alright. Sorry I went off like that. I just had to get some stuff off my chest. Anyway, stuff that I liked about this iMPACT. Despite how it was presented, the Sting-Jay Lethal match itself was pretty good. I think they sold it effectively that Sting was getting upset by Lethal, and Lethal did not look out of place in the ring with him, which is very important. AJ and Joe versus Beer Money wasn't bad, and I like what TNA is doing with the Motor City Machine Guns. These two are kind of the X factor in this storyline right now, causing dissent and infighting with the young guys. It's really interesting to watch. I just hope it doesn't end with the Guns getting buried again. Also, the Christian Cage thing came off well, I thought. Looks like TNA learned their lesson from the Gail Kim situation. I mean, if you got a wrestler who could potentially be jumping ship to WWE, you don't get careless and let it happen in a way that embarrasses your company. You be smart about it, and you do damage control, which they accomplished here. So now if Christian re-signs with TNA, he's got a perfect grudge storyline against the heels, and if he goes back to the E, it looks like the main event Mafia ran him out of TNA on a rail. So, I mean, Christian Cage would definitely be a loss for TNA, but if he does leave, then at least their asses are covered this time. And I haven't really talked about this yet, but I really do like how TNA's been using Mick Foley. When Booker T came in last year, TNA dropped the ball with him, because they didn't treat all his appearances like they were a big deal. It was like, hey, there's Booker T. Now let's go to the back for an interview with this other person, I mean, he made a big splash initially, but then he just kind of assimilated into the roster, and the bloom came off the rose with Booker T really quickly. But they didn't fall into that trap with Mick Foley because they've created a meaningful role for him that allows him to make an impact. He's playing like a motivator / mentor figure to the young guys, and that helps a lot. I mean, just the fact that Mick Foley mentions an Alex Shelley in a promo can mean something because it shows that a guy like Shelley is not beneath Foley's notice, and that makes Shelley look like a bigger deal than he was before. And stuff like talking up AJ Styles, calling Samoa Joe the most believable badass in pro wrestling, stuff like that really means a lot coming from a guy like Foley. And that's the way to utilize these veterans. You don't have them bury the young talent, you use them to build these guys up. So, anyway, there was a lot wrong with this show this week. There were some good things too, but Christ, I really hope next week's Impact is better than this one. Because shows like this are not going to get TNA into the 1.2s. TNA, do better next week. Seriously, do better next week.